Hello and welcome to the A.D.H.Deep-Dive, the show that's not about ADHD, but is filled with proof it exists. My name is David J. Mund, joined once again for, I have stopped counting actually, to be honest with you.
Maybe like 6, 7.
You fucking asshole. The millionth time, John Kelley. We're gonna do that. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Which means I need to refocus on your face. Great start to the podcast.
It's not a podcast about ADHD, but fill the proof it exists.
Nailed it. John, I know right where to start it.
Uh-oh.
So, I actually want to talk to you about addiction real quick. Okay. So, sometimes when someone is addicted to something, you know, you can stage like interventions, right? And you can do it like clinically, you can do it like surround them with all the people that they love. But at the end of the day,
I feel like I might know where this is going.
If someone doesn't want to help themselves, you can't help them, right? We agree? Okay, I need to talk to you about M-Perks.
Oh, this is not where I thought it was going.
Okay, so to the audio listeners.
I thought it was going to be about how many Instagram reels I send you.
Oh, no, that's fine. We should also have a conversation about that someday, but now is not the time for that. So, John has recently dealt with a struggle in his life that I hear about all the fucking time. At least once a week, John is texting me about this frustration. At least. And for those listening, there's a grocery store in Michigan. I'm sure you all know. But there's a grocery store in Michigan called Meijer. And the savings for that store is done via an app called M-Perks. You punch in your number, the money you spend goes into a little system. Those points accumulate, and then you can choose to use them for discounted purchases or on gas, right? For cash back on gas. That's not good enough for John. And I find myself having to defend a corporate entity that I don't even like. I just feel like I get so annoyed with John because I'll let you take it from here. Tell me your frustration.
My frustration is that it doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work?
My frustration.
And why does it only not work for you, but it works for everybody else who uses the app?
My frustration is if I am typing in my phone number, it's like, oh, enter your phone number to enter your M-Perks, and you type in your phone number, you type in your PIN, boom. My frustration is the fact that should be it. Like, I've typed in my account.
Okay.
If I'm going to get a discount, boom, discount. If something's on sale, but it's only on sale to those who have M-Perks, who have signed up, who have essentially sold your soul of personal information to have an account. If something's on sale, boom, I type in my phone number, I type in my PIN, discount.
Does Meijer ever say the savings are for M-Perks members only?
It'll say when stuff is on sale.
But for M-Perks members only? No, is the answer.
Okay.
They don't ever claim to give bigger discounts to them. And again, I find myself frustrated because I am put in the position where I have to defend a corporate entity that I disagree with corporate practices.
And I will also note too, whatever argument I'm about to make just makes it worse.
I'm not like trying to make an additional argument. My point is, okay, Gus, you're too much here. Go on, buddy. Peace out. Okay, fine. He's not getting down. I feel like we have this part of the podcast in the first 5 minutes of every podcast is me deciding whether or not to kick the dogs down. So let me start this part of the conversation by saying that John now drives a Tesla, okay? And so some of this is irrelevant to you. And I understand that part of the frustration. But, okay, let's say you go to Family Fare or you go to whatever other grocery store where you can punch in your number and get savings.
Just about anywhere else.
But those are loyalty rewards, right? So like you have the card, you get the savings.
Same thing, different name.
That's fine.
Same, but different.
Gus, you stink. That's fine. And I'm willing to concede on that point.
Then we're done here.
That's
the whole thing.
Because what if instead I wanted to save up these points and use them for like $1 off of gas per gallon now that gas is almost 5 gallons. You don't drive a Tesla, so it's irrelevant to you, but I want to save those savings. Hang on, one more. Would you rather be able to have the ability to save up points to get $1 off a gallon if you drove a gas vehicle, or every time get 3 cents off a gallon?
Probably every time get 3 cents off a gallon.
That's where we disagree. But go ahead.
But here's my thing. The fact that I don't buy gas, put that aside.
Good timing.
If I am going to turn that around and take that same argument, here's the deal. If I'm not going to get like a discount on stuff that's on sale, then as I accumulate points...
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, okay, so here's the deal.
You're not going to get a discount on things that are on sale? It's already on sale.
But not as much as it could be. Because if I went into the app and I clipped the coupons, then stuff would be on sale. Or it's just on sale. Period.
Now, okay, you've gotten me to agree with you on that point. Clipping coupons is dumb.
Yes.
The fact that you have to clip the coupons, I agree with you.
If it's on sale, it's on sale, period. If
Sure.
I go to D&W Family Fare and it says, hey, if you are a Family Fare member, lawyer, loyalty, whatever, and it's this price, otherwise it's normally this price. And I grab it, I go up to the checkout, I type in my phone number, bing, here's all my discounts.
I'm willing to agree there.
Done.
Okay.
That is all it needs to be.
Okay.
That is all. But to go back to your gas argument, fine. If I'm not going to get a discount, that's whatever. But without having to be prompted, without having to do anything, without having to go to my frickin' app to redeem, what it should be is
I'm with you here.
After
I'm with
enough
you here
times, it's like, hey, would you like $10 off this purchase today? Just because you've already redeemed enough and I don't have to do anything. I just hit either yes or no. And if I hit no, I'm going to save it for later. And that's it.
I'm willing to agree there.
Done. Like,
okay.
This is so stupid. I hate M-Perks.
I don't want to have to be put in a position where I'm defending this corporate entity, because there are plenty of practices that I strongly disagree with. And that I'm with you on, where I shouldn't have to open a separate app. It should be on the screen when I check out. To be like, do you want to use these points for $1 off, or do you want to whatever? That said, an additional point is you can set little alerts on M-Perks where it's like, if you have...
I'm not doing that.
I know, I understand.
I'm not doing that.
I understand. Can you go to your M-Perks right now?
I don't even have the app installed.
That's... Okay, now that is your problem.
No,
if you open up your...
I use I use her phone number.
She does the same thing for me, so we accumulate. So
open up your app right now.
I'm using the fucking phone.
Oh, isn't that convenient? If you could just type in your phone number and just get a discount, we wouldn't even be doing this.
I'm just saying, you can open up. I bet you have some sick savings on your screen because you've spent a good amount of money. If you
or Mia keeps redeeming them.
Now that is a third possibility that I never considered.
But do you know what? It wouldn't matter if I just typed it in and I got money off.
Yep. Well, that's pretty much all I had for the podcast today. So
it's been a good one.
Go to Meyer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a punk house. It's a punk home. You can find this banner and others like it, as well as this silly goose on the loose hat, these etched mirrors, these custom charm bracelets, and so much more by heading to Cat and Crew, that's KATANDCREW.com, and entering the promo code Monday, that's MUNDAY, for 10% off your first purchase. Katie and Andrew, one of the first supporters of this show, have made a 10% discount available for A.D.H.Deep-Dive listeners. See store for details, of course, but they've got so many cool punk home products, decor. You don't have to be a punk. That's okay. That's all right. Tattoos for your home, koozies, wall banners. So again, if you want this is not a punk house, this is a punk home banner. If you want this silly goose on a loose hat, if you want etched mirrors, if you want custom charm bracelets, so much more, go to Cat and Crew, KATANDCREW.com, enter the promo code Monday, that's MUNDAY, for 10% off your first purchase. Thank you very much to Katie and Andrew for sponsoring the show. Let's get back to the podcast. We're sipping our traditional old fashioned with the, was it Tenjaku or something like that?
Some Japanese whiskey.
If it's not what I just said, probably what I just said could be taken offense.
I will say that would be a good segue. This can go as deep as it goes.
That's what she said.
As someone who hasn't had to buy gas in the better part of 2 months at this point,
how's that feeling?
I'm living large.
I'm sure you are. Come on, bud.
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, right now.
And I don't even need a discount of my amperage.
That's true. You don't. Now, how are you finding? Were you driving a hybrid before?
No, I was driving a Chevy Malibu.
Okay. So how are you finding the transition to owning a purely electric vehicle? Not only just a purely electric vehicle, but like the sort of quintessential electric vehicle.
It has been okay. I want to take the fact that Elon sucks, and I want to put that aside.
Of course.
I don't disagree.
The hope has always been, even from the board members themselves, that one day he is not associated with this company. So it can be returned to its former glory.
And I will say that a Tesla has been my dream car since the Model 3 was released in 2015. Or I think it was announced 2015, released 2016.
Yeah. You have a Model Y?
I have a Model Y.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I have always said that I am not brand loyal.
Sure.
I will buy whatever electric car if it meets the following criteria. And that criteria goes just as far per charge, has the charging network / infrastructure as Tesla's superchargers, and has the software.
So that's the benefit that you're finding, I'm sure.
None of them.
Network.
The closest, and is also roughly the same price.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers, no one else is near currently, but Tesla did open their chargers to everybody.
I did not know that.
Starting this year, every manufacturer is switching to Tesla's charging port.
So it's kind of like how everybody went USB-C?
Correct. Which is funny because the charger port that all the other cars had was technically the actual standard. Mm-hmm. And Tesla said, nah, we ain't doing that. And everybody switched to Tesla, which is nice for Tesla because they do get kind of like how anyone who ever sold a lightning cable had to pay Apple some royalties.
Yep.
Same thing for Tesla.
Yep.
Anyways, but the biggest thing is that those are always my criteria, and so far no one has even come close. I think the closest is Rivian, but they're still $100,000.
Yeah,
or
nuts.
you can get their R2, which comes out later this year, but it's still more expensive than a brand new Model Y.
Yeah. There is I'm actually removing the politics from this, but there could be politics associated with it. I'm just not necessarily interested in talking about those specifics right now. Trump just got back from China, and there's a whole what agreements, what concessions did they make, what sort of whatever. And it's more possible now than ever that we start importing Chinese electric vehicles.
Which I will say are night and day.
Yeah.
Far beyond anything.
And so much more affordable.
Yeah.
Now, what will likely happen is they will be tariffed to hell.
Yep.
They will be more expensive than they should be here, but that would be my gateway to owning an electric vehicle. Because much more affordable, if you buy based on the value, but also I'm just hearing, obviously I don't know firsthand, it's so much better.
They're better.
That's crazy.
But to go back to your initial question, as far as owning an electric car, compared to, and it's a full send. I didn't go hybrid. I went completely gas to completely electric.
Yep.
It has been everything that I hoped it would be.
Sweet.
Any of the downsides I was aware of ahead of time. So I wasn't just oh man, this sucks, this is inconvenient. I knew that. So I have a charger at my house. So every day I wake up to what is essentially a full tank of gas.
So sick. It's 350, 400 miles? What do you get on that?
So I got mine used, which means the battery has degraded over time. So it's 280 in a full charge.
Still not bad.
Still not bad.
And how long does it take from 0 to full?
So at my house, 0 to full is 7 hours, which means I get home at the end of the day and I wake up and it's done.
Right.
If I go to a supercharger, literal 0 to 80%, which you should be only charged to 80 for battery health, 30 minutes. But keep in mind, it plateaus off. So the first 0 to 60, you can get done in 15 minutes.
That's exactly the same with iPhones.
Yeah.
It's the fast chargers charge it to 80% and then back off.
So initially, realistically, if I had to stop at a supercharger and I wanted to get at least half my battery charge, I can do it in 7 minutes.
That's pretty sick.
It's pretty good. But so the actual driving has been phenomenal. Taking road trips has been pretty good too, because I personally hate being in the car.
Yeah.
Like I hate being in the car, long road trips. I hate it. I just get uncomfortable. I want to like get up and move, but you can't.
You got a self-driving feature.
Well,
You kind
self-driving.
of can now.
But people's argument is like, well, I can stop and get a tank of gas in like less than 3 minutes and be back on the road. And it's like, but the thing is, I don't want to.
Sure.
I want to stop and charge, and let's say it takes 10 minutes. That's enough time for me to like get up, walk around,
Stretch
go to the
your legs,
bathroom,
yeah.
get back in the car. We're good
Yep.
to go.
Yeah.
That is what I want out of my long road trips.
Sure.
So where a lot of people would see that as a negative, like that has been probably my favorite part.
I would say the only place that would backfire is not that you anticipate any of this, but like long road trip emergencies where like you need to be like somewhere far enough away that you're gonna have to charge, but like quickly.
Yep.
Like, you know, in a scenario where every minute counts.
Yep.
But like,
And that's fair, but
that's not the expectation.
Yeah. I did also get a air mattress for the back of my car.
Ooh.
So I actually used it. I went fishing with my dad and his friends a couple weekends ago. And the living situation was everyone had like their own room. I was going to share a room, like 2 beds with my dad, but then they had an extra person come and my dad was like, oh, you know, we can just share a bed. My dad snores really bad.
Dude,
So-
literally what you're describing right now is what I just did on our weekender.
Yep.
I chose to sleep in the van and they slept in a hotel room because I was like, I'm not dealing with their snoring.
So what was nice about the car is I fold the seats down. I inflate the air mattress, which is like battery powered. So
Yep.
it just whoop,
She's got one of those.
and then I throw a blanket down. I crawl in. I put the car in camp mode, which climate controls the whole car.
Whoa.
And it only uses like 6% battery per night to do that.
Whoa.
So at one point I had to turn it down. It was like 75 and I was sweating.
Yeah.
So I just turned it down and just went back to sleep. So yeah, it filters the air. So it's not
Yeah.
like, and then also it climate controls. So I can set it to whatever I
Damn.
want. Done.
That's sort of the dream. We've talked about, which I'm going to quickly address now because it hasn't happened. Right in between us, in the background, just poke your head out for just a quick second. Emily is there. We've talked about sort of like dream scenarios for like traveling, and like a lot of that is hindered by 3 dogs.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this to the universe and to the listeners and to myself as well. I say this every single time I mention this kind of thing. I will be absolutely and completely devastated when my dogs finally go. Those will be the hardest days of my life. I'm ready for a life with no dogs for a while, so we can kind of drop everything and travel. Because, you know, again, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there are the scenarios where like doggy daycare is a thing, and I can take them to my parents or whatever. But I also, for the last 16 years, or whatever, Judah's 12, 13.
Basically, for as long as you've been an adult where you could go do things as an adult with no responsibilities,
Yeah.
you then immediately had a dog.
Yeah. And, you know, whatever. For a guy that's finally getting a lot of his finances together in his 30s, it's taken a while to like have a little bit of financial responsibility. But especially in those early days, doggy daycare wasn't an option. Like, it was just like a little too expensive. Or
It's still expensive.
It's definitely expensive, but like I was either going to do those things or like inconvenience people in my life who don't get me wrong, like have volunteered to like help out with the dogs or whatever. But like there's guilt associated with that. I don't want to like stick them with the grandparents all the time or whatever. But anyways, thinking about the Tesla of it all, being like, dude, I dream of those days in the future where, you know, she's fully work from home. In a perfect world, if I've like shot a few projects, I've got plenty of editing to keep me busy. Mm-hmm. We could just go anywhere. We're both work from home. Like the dream is the conversion van, but the fully electric conversion van, which is so far in the future, I guess. But like, I mean, they exist, but like for $100,000, I'm not really willing to do that.
Yeah.
But filling up an air mattress in the back of my Kia Soul, I guess that's an option for now.
Well, it's also too, I mean, just talking about gas prices, I officially got my first Consumers Energy electric bill.
It's crazy.
And for the month of owning my car, and keep in mind, ever since we got my car, that's been the road trip car.
Yeah.
So anytime we need to drive to like Detroit,
you're saying based on the now that you're charging your vehicle.
So now that I'm charging my car, So based on like, we use that to set the stage. I bought the car at used 46,000 miles. Bought it like a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was already at like 51. I had like almost 5,000 miles in like a month and a half.
What's the expectation that like the peak? Like my Kia is gonna bottom out at 170 is the expectation.
Well, so really quick, my consumer's energy bill charging at home every night went up $20.
Really?
Yeah.
You're saying in total?
In total.
Man.
Keep in mind, that's like, for my Chevy Malibu, especially with prices now, that's like a half a tank of gas.
Yeah, dude.
To charge for the whole month. But...
Go ahead.
Well, let's say too,
I'm going to find a way to pivot this into aliens.
So also to set expectation, well, keep in mind too, there's no engine. So I don't pay for gas. I don't pay for oil changes. The only thing
there's about to be an oil shortage.
Right. So the only thing I ever pay for is tires as needed. Same with any other car. Windshield wiper fluid. And then I also have to pay for brake pads. But keep in mind that the car, when I take my foot off the accelerator, it has regenerative braking. Yeah. Which means that the brake pads aren't being like engaged. It's an air.
What is it? Like a. Go ahead.
Essentially, like it's regenerating the brakes by slowing down.
Right.
Which means that the brakes themselves, on average, last around like 100,000 miles.
The like layman argument, though, which I don't understand, so I'm not like advocating for this, is that but the repairs that you're going to need are like computer based, which is more of a specialized repair. Yeah. But you haven't experienced that yet, really.
No. So buying the car used, it came with a warranty. Also came with a battery warranty of 150,000 miles.
Sick.
And the actual expected battery range before like the battery literally just takes a shit, like a phone would, like a laptop would, anything, is estimated to be around like 300,000 miles. So
that's nuts.
This is going to be my like car until it dies.
That's awesome.
And I'm pretty pumped.
And here's the thing. Okay, so, talking about like you don't need like oil changes or whatever, anything like that. There was there's obviously an oil lobby. Again, I'm going to find a way to avoid the politics of this, but while quickly touching on the politics of like, obviously big oil, big gasoline, they run everything. There's a lobby to like keep this from being the norm. Like the fact that electric vehicles aren't the standard right now.
The fact that electric vehicles aren't the standard. The fact that, and this is, I worked at Consumers Energy.
You sure
for
did.
2 years. I learned a lot about the company, not necessarily, doing the job that I did, but I had to attend a lot of seminars. I actually, as an intern, got to meet with a lot of like C-suite employees. I met with the CEO, I met with the CIO, the COO, and they were talking about,
which is funny because you were like 19.
Yeah, I was like way too young to really. But it was never lost on me while I was there about how like crazy that was.
Oh yeah.
At one point in time, the CEO, her name was Patty Poppy. She was
We're looking at you, Patty Poppy.
Yep. I'm pretty sure she was ranked in like the top 10 most like powerful women in Michigan.
I'm sure.
It was like, I don't know, like essentially the CEO of the sole utility for the most part. But the more I met with them, they're like, oh yeah, so like renewable utility. So this is, wind farms, solar farms, hydro plants. They kept saying like, they are.
Sure you're still going? As long as the blue light's on, yeah, you're good.
They are far more like efficient than people give them credit for, and they are far more efficient than coal like plants. Yeah. They're not quite as efficient as nuclear plants, but like different.
Try a third time.
Nuclear. But
not gonna let you fucking slide on that.
But it's just interesting because consumers actually had a plan. They're like, by, and it was like 2030, 2035. They're like, they want to switch to almost all renewable.
But they're being
but they were
stopped from doing that.
That's the thing. So they were like actually retiring coal plants, and they were doing a good job of either if anyone was close to retirement, buying them out, giving them early retirement, or relocating them within the company to give a new job. They didn't do any job cuts.
Yep.
But with that, they were, while they were ramping down a lot of like pollution based, energy generation, they were scaling up their renewable generation. But then truly in this last,
well, because before you move on to why that is, there were tax incentives during the Biden administration. There were tax breaks and whatever financial incentives for these types of companies to start working into renewable resources.
Because I don't want to say it was strictly because of the Green New Deal. But that was
the Green New Deal never got passed, just to be clear.
But I mean,
it was the influence of the Green New Deal, yeah.
So,
but again, before you say the thing that you're going to say, don't. I'm not going to let these billionaires off the hook by saying it's because, they decided that's a really good thing. It's because it became financially feasible for them.
It became worth it to do it.
Exactly. And so, I don't want to let them off the hook morally, but there was an avenue for that to start happening. And then,
well, and then all those got stripped.
Yep.
Any incentive there was to, manufacture those things went.
Yep.
Came and went. And obviously the argument is well, if it makes more financial sense to do something oil or gas or coal based,
they're going to
just do it. It's I can see the argument there where it's at the end of the day, dollar and cents.
Yep.
I get it. But I feel like what's annoying though is, Consumers Energy and DTE are publicly traded companies that have to report their yearly, not only revenue, but earnings.
Yep.
And every year they are billions in the green.
Of course. Every billion-dollar company is showing profit right now.
Yep.
Every single one. And they're going to keep raising their prices. And then when things become better and more sustainable, they're not going to bring them back down.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's what just gets frustrating too, because, everyone's in the green, but then DTE this year specifically is lobbying to have their second price hike of the year.
Yep.
It's guys.
Yep.
And and this just
look at DTE stocks right now through the fucking roof.
Yep. And I guess this will be my next talking point.
I could get there.
And it's something that I've said all the time.
I'm just about as uncomfortable as it gets with this dog right now, by the way.
Yep.
Timber, you're so big.
You're so long.
You're so big. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Is just, I don't know. Hot take. I don't think this is a hot take.
There's no chance.
It's just I'm just tired of the motto being exponential growth.
That's capitalism, brother.
I know, but it's just okay, we made $1 million last year. We're on track to make 1.1 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making up numbers for a made-up business.
I just realized I'm doing the thing. You listen to the podcast. I keep clicking right here.
Yep.
I might get a random fidget toy. I can't say the name of this, but take it.
What the hell is this?
I can't say the name of it on the air. I'll say it off. Oh, yeah. Don't squeeze it too hard. It might explode. But it's a nice little fidget toy.
But no, it's just oh, we made a profit last year. We're on track to make slightly, but even more profit this year.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't that be good enough?
I mean, is this a rhetorical thing? Because you know the answer.
I don't know. I'm also tired of hearing the word shareholders.
Yeah.
Hey,
fuck them.
I don't care. Oh no, my share, I own stocks in this company and they're only doing better than they did last year.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
Well, and that's why, dude, fuck it. We're in our politics era. I mean, I'm not going to, again, I always feel a little pressured to not take it all the way there when I have a guest. And I know it's not, whatever. To my tens of listeners, I'm sure you're not going to share it to fucking CNN here. But it's when that whole...
Local white boy takes hot stance.
Local white boy whose thighs are pasty white and exposed on camera. Timber, you're
For free, no less.
for free. I'm just gonna stand up and adjust this here because if he's leaning his hot breath on my legs, then I'm fully exposed to the heat here.
Hey, be careful of the AC. It's going to charge you more for consumers and DTE.
Honestly, that's fair, and it is not my apartment, so I'm still paying at my place. I'm talking like this. I'm talking to you here. When the whole Epstein thing was at its peak, and Pam Bondi was being questioned in Congress, what was the pushback? Do you remember that statement?
To everything that was being argued, she said, well, the Dow's over 50,000.
The Dow's over 50,000.
How can you complain about anything?
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is, because that is all they care about. If you look at your stock portfolio right now, it's doing pretty good.
Which is funny because for a while, it wasn't.
Well, this is where the insider trading arguments come in as well, because it's like, yes, politicians start wars to distract from their own crimes, but war is so profitable. Like,
I'm pretty sure it was AOC that went on record and said that, we as a company, basically, we as
America
a country
is a country
are
or a company.
So, like, a lot of our economy is tied around war.
Yeah.
She's like, why can't it just be tied around, like, not that?
Literally, Trump at the podium said, like, and I'm this isn't like analogy. He said this, I'm not saying it verbatim, but this is what he said. We cannot afford healthcare, childcare, maternity leave, sick leave, any of this stuff, because that's not what the government's job is. The government's job is war, is to spend money on war. And it's like,
which is a wild statement.
Yes, but like with everything, he says the quiet part out loud. It's like, we all knew that.
Yeah.
But now he's saying it. Now they're saying it. And you know what? To make this lighthearted, or to tie it somewhat into the A.D.H. deep dive here, I'm going to bring this to aliens, because it can be done. And then I actually want to talk about something that I wrote down.
The distractions.
The distractions.
It's just, I feel like first of all, every 2 weeks, Iran has 2 weeks to make.
Oh, yeah.
But also the distractions is always like, oh, hey,
yeah.
Our last week's distraction isn't working again.
Yeah.
Let's release alien footage.
Yes.
Oh no, that's not working.
That's actually
week.
not what I was going to talk about, but that is part of it as well. Also, a nice little Freudian slip with the Israel thing, because
moving on.
Listen, whatever. We're not going to talk about it on there. I'll leave that for another solo podcast where I think about quitting the podcast. But the distractions side of it, to quickly touch on that, you're familiar with the taco phrase?
Oh yeah.
Trump always chickens out or whatever. That's it. It's like, you watch him make these statements saying, we're about to bomb them.
It's always 2 weeks.
Yes, and you watch oil stocks drop and the price goes up. And then he says, just kidding, we're not doing it. Oil stocks go way up because people buy.
And the announcement is always made like Sunday night.
Yes.
Markets open Monday.
That literally happened on the way to drop a nuke. Remember that? We're just pretending like that didn't happen. Yeah. Where he threatens to nuke a country. And that was the first. And now everybody's like, oh, whatever. He's just going to manipulate the markets. But anyways, yeah, that was the first moment of panic I actually experienced. Was like, oh my God, he's going to nuke them. And then he went, just kidding.
I think one of my favorite memes was it was from Back to the Future. It's when Marty McFly is like, hey, I've seen this episode before.
Oh, yeah.
The Trump supporters are like, what do you mean? It's brand new.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But no, the aliens thing, which, listen, I move the goalposts for aliens.
Let it be
all
heard,
the time.
The amount of times you and I talk about aliens.
Yeah.
I don't want to say somewhat frequently, but frequently.
Yeah.
I don't think in our podcasts that I've ever been on that we have actually talked about aliens. We've talked about cryptids.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I usually get it out before you're on the podcast. I've punched myself out a little bit. Which, listen, this is the open door for that. But to kind of hand you the ball here, or pass the torch, or whatever the analogy is in this moment, to tie the oil industry thing to the aliens, we were talking about like renewable energy. Why would you do that?
Anyways.
Why would you do that? Why? Oh my god.
Aliens.
Do you want to say what you just said?
No.
Okay, fine. John just wrote me a note, and I guess we'll keep it between him and me. It's the bottom one. Like, why? Why?
Thank you.
This guy. Anyways,
Oh.
yeah, see, that's what you get. Anyways, to tie this, we're doing a fucking podcast, John. Be professional. To tie this to the oil industry, we were talking about renewable energy and how the oil lobby is much more powerful, and they will always push down the renewable competition because the oil lobby matters most. Profitability matters most. To tie into this aliens thing, you know, there's an argument to be made that all the aliens thing is fake, right? That it's always been fake. It's just been psyops to keep us whatever. There is another argument to be made that, you know, there are people in the government who just want to keep it down because we'll panic and whatever. But the argument that more and more becomes more and more likely to me if aliens have visited and we know about them. This is given so many different variables.
Yep.
Is that the reason we're not hearing about it is in large part due to the quote-unquote truth that aliens got here based on a different type of propulsion that we reverse engineered that would eliminate the need for oil. Like, we don't need to burn fuel. Like, it's the whatever the like a gravity propulsion systems.
Not
Like,
only that, but it's like the conspiracy of the man who created an engine that runs on nothing but water,
Is
and then like a
found
week
dead.
later,
exactly.
Double gunshot wound to the back of the head.
Exactly. It's a suicide. He shot himself in the back of the head twice.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like that's sort of the current conspiracy brain, is that like all this like UFO stuff is trickling out because there was legislation signed to like, you know, release the files. But what other release the files conspiracy was also signed into law that we're only getting little tiny bits and pieces about?
Yep.
The Epstein shit, you know, like
It's
Congress.
enough.
Go ahead.
It feels, I mean, obviously conspiracy theory, but
Yeah.
it obviously just feels like it's just enough every week to just keep someone looking
Quell the
over
plebs.
here.
Yeah. It's enough of a distraction. But, you know, when you tie, you know, Washington brain is always follow the money, right? If all of the conspiracy stuff is to believe that they're here, they've always been here, and that the government is covering it up, what better explanation for why we don't know about it than that we have reverse engineered a technology where we no longer need the oil industry, and they want to keep that stuff covered up because like they're already doing that. Like, look no further than wind and solar and even nuclear power. Like, that stuff exists, and yet it keeps getting pushed down because profitability needs to go up because we live in a capitalist society where the stocks need to go up. You know, return on investment, profitability, all the buzzwords. At the end of the day, the oil industry is still the most powerful lobby in the entire country, and we don't know truly about aliens because of it. And I'm willing to sit right there, and that is my current conspiracy brain about it all. You're writing a note, and it could be relevant, it could be irrelevant, like the last note that you just sent over to me that the audience doesn't know about. And
No,
you're
don't
deep
worry
in
about
it.
Yeah, we're good.
Do you want to talk about what you just wrote?
Sure.
Oh my fucking God. I'm going to pass this one back. No, don't even entertain it. Go back to your little hidey hole back there. You know what? No, I'm addressing that one. On an early episode of the podcast, John, when we were making 2025 predictions, I think it
so
was.
it's 2024 end of year.
2024 end of year, John said, my prediction for 2025 is that David will
realize that he smells.
And
everyone has just been too polite to say it.
Yeah.
And whenever he asks someone about it, they'll be like, "Oh,
yeah,
you don't smell."
And John has roped the love of my life into this bid, and it's really starting to frustrate the fuck out of me.
What do you mean? What do you mean bit?
Okay, so I was here talking about aliens, and I'm going to talk about unless you have an actual follow-up on this.
I genuinely don't.
Do you want to talk about aliens for a minute before I move on to the next thing?
Sure.
Do you have any thoughts?
No, So my thought on aliens is, I don't know. I'd go as far to say that I believe in aliens, but only in the sense that like they're the scope of the entire universe is so large, and there's so many planets in quote unquote Goldilocks zones that there's like, I don't know. I just find it very hard to believe that like we're the only planet and the only
You've got a very
species.
safe take on aliens.
Yeah, just we're the only ones that ever happen to quote unquote make it. Now, granted, there's a lot of conspiracies about like, okay, let's assume, but we actually haven't heard or seen or been visited by aliens, whatever you want to define that as. Like, there's a lot of theories as to why that would be. It's like either
Fermi paradox.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. It's just like we're either the most advanced and no one's caught up yet, and we will be the first,
right?
Or maybe like, you know, the universe is so expansive that like we just haven't been found yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's like some cabal level aliens out there killing everyone.
I was there for a while.
Where it's just like,
unfortunate
hey,
I was stuck in that.
Like Earth better stay quiet.
Yeah.
That's why no one's reached out to us yet. Like there's so many, I don't know. There's just, it's just, I feel like it's very naive of someone to flat out say like, I know.
Yeah. There's also the, you know, I've
there's
got
none.
I've got my issues with him, but there's the Neil deGrasse Tyson take too, which is, it's a joke that he made, but I think it's also like, it's funny enough to repeat here that, you know, there is some super intelligent species that has traveled the cosmos, has, you know, gone to every corner of the universe in search of intelligent life. It came here and determined there was no intelligent life. Like, you know, because we are so cosmically small. Yeah, I've run the whole gamut of like, they're here, they're in the government, like there are lizard people. I've gone all I almost said communist brain, conspiracy brained to every level that you can go to. And I find myself as I get older, I don't know if this is a maturity thing or an exhaustion thing, that like, you know, the disclosure has always been just weeks away. You know, like we're gonna find out in just a couple weeks. The next shoe's about to drop, and then all of it's gonna come crumbling down, and it just doesn't happen. So either I am exhausted by the reality that even if it is true, I'll never be allowed to know because it's such a well-kept secret, or the pretty basic take that like, yeah, they must be real, but they're probably not here.
Well, even to the same extent about just like the current administration.
Yeah.
It's just like, there is just like that level of exhaustion. Like we're always just like, for better or for worse, whatever is announced or what's not announced, like we're always just 1 week away from something. And then either it gets delayed or revoked, or whatever it is announced is like nothing, where it's just like, I don't know. I feel like something will hit the news, whether that's just like something I hear or Reddit or whatnot, where it's just like great, cool. Like it could be Earth, like in any other period of time, it could be like earth shattering news where it's just like, okay, cool. I like,
and the sad reality is like, they literally could come out and say like, yeah, like the aliens are here. Here's an actual picture of the multiple presidents of the United States shaking hands with the aliens. And either it's going to be like,
all AI, that's, bro.
Yeah, either that's going to be, it's AI. Whether, like, let's go with the assumption that it is true and real. A good portion of the world will think, yeah, that's AI. Like, you can make anything now. Or the really, truly unfortunate reality is like, okay, gas is still too expensive. Like, you're going to tell me aliens are here and they've always been here. I get so anxious now anytime I see you writing a note because it's gonna be some bullshit where you
I'm jotting a note.
Okay, he's actually jotting a note. You know, the sad reality for me is that like if it is revealed that they're here, they're real, and they've always been here, I'm not gonna believe it, or I'm gonna believe it and go, yeah, but I can't afford groceries. So like, how does this affect me? Like, I'll feel finally validated that I was right about my conspiracy brain after all this time.
Yeah.
What do you got? You're a motherfucker. I don't even know. So that's all I got. John gave me another bullshit note and I'm moving past. I think we're gonna wind ourselves down here. We can make this a short one, but I want to tell you a story about this apartment complex, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Emily appeared. So
by the way, really quick, it was disclosed to me before this podcast started that Emily agrees with me wholeheartedly in the M-Perk situation. So wait, hold on.
Get over
hold
there.
on, hold
you know,
on.
hand her the mic. Hand her the mic.
Okay, so the M-Perks app is faulty
This has
and
never happened on the
it's
podcast
favoritism to David only exclusively.
You're right.
I
Yeah, I'm
suppose.
rolling in dough because me
Yeah.
and Frederick Meyer's deceased body have
Correct. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm shilling for
What's the arrangement there?
yeah, we have a sexual relation in which I am the only one who benefits from M-Perks. Go ahead. Tell me more.
Is that where the phrase boning comes from?
Yeah, it sure does. Tell me more.
Anyway, the app just doesn't work. It doesn't work every time I log in.
Now
It
here's
says-
where you're the outlier.
It says, great. It says your M-Perks cannot be accessed every time I try to redeem a reward. It just doesn't work, and then it clears all the points from my account. Then when I open the app back up again, the points are still there, and it's just like a giant middle finger to me. And so I use your M-Perks.
I was just gonna say you punch my numbers in,
Yes.
and every single time it works, and I find myself being rewarded.
but
if you were trying to buy stuff,
Yeah.
If you were trying your self checkout and you type in your phone number and it just gave you the discount, you have to deal with the app.
Thank you.
But
Done.
Again, just to
Done.
be clear, I do agree with that. I don't disagree with that. But you play with the cards you dealt. You're playing poker. I'm playing Uno, brother. That's all I got. We're playing two different games.
Smooth brained.
I co-signed.
Okay, great.
The
title
okay,
here is going to be
really
featuring
good,
John
really good,
Kelley,
really quick.
featuring Emma Sheridan.
The only rewards program for like a general grocery superstore, if you will, or that is worse, is the Target Circle.
I don't think I've ever shopped at Target.
You save your time.
Yeah?
You will type in your Target Circle, and no one knows what it does.
Okay.
It doesn't save you money. I'll tell you
Okay.
that much.
Now, does it actually not save you money? Do you accumulate points?
No.
Do you believe that, or do you know that to be true?
It is a trending thing where, like, whether you TikTok, Instagram, whatever you
Okay,
want.
all right.
Literally,
The
if
true
you go somewhere,
bastions of reality.
no, if you literally go anywhere, even just Google Target Circle rewards, and people would be like, the rewards aren't there.
Okay. All right, great. Well, thank
Which
you for that
is
little tangent.
barely better than M-Perks.
And again, I am not agreeing with the corporate entities that do their best
Boy,
to make
he's trying
things
to.
more expensive. I'm a shill for big oil, all right? That's the only multi-billion-dollar corporation conglomerate that I find myself aligned with.
Boy, you're actively trying to get M-Perks to get money off of your oil.
I want it so bad. I want it so bad. There's an oil shortage coming. Let me save, brother. Okay.
Anyways, this apartment complex.
Let's talk about this apartment. There was two things I was going to talk about the apartment. One was, I think I'm just going to talk.
Actually,
about
hold on. Before I do this,
that guy.
I'm
not
going to
this
hand
guy.
my microphone over because I have nothing to add to this conversation, but there's two people here who do. So I'm
Okay.
gonna hand this
Are
over.
you fine with that?
Oh, okay. I thought we were going for his take on that.
I am going for his take on that.
We'll get
I
my
think-
take, but I want to hear the full story first,
We-
and I need to
we-
hear it. I need to hear it from both.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna
we
hand
will-
it over.
We will have our back and forth about. Player 3 has joined the game. We'll have our quick back and forth about the scenario,
Yeah.
and then we'll get John's take. And
Okay.
anytime you want to make a take, just take the microphone from whoever's not talking. Okay? It'll make
Wait,
balancing these
I need
levels
to
out
write-
real great.
I do need to write a note to you though.
You need to write a note.
I do
okay.
need to write
all
a
right.
note. Yeah.
There's a disclosure thing that I'm pretty sure I know what you're gonna say, and that's fine. I will not. No names. No. You and me. This is great podcast fodder, guys. Loving the silence, everybody. No, would never.
All right, hey,
Interesting way for that to have accidentally happened, but no, yeah.
apartment. I want to hear this story.
Okay, so
No, I have not heard this story.
no,
Okay.
yeah, John. Just to be clear, anything you say, unless you have a microphone in your hand, will not be heard.
Okay.
So anything, even says okay. John says okay for the audio listeners. So I am moving out of my place. Emily's lease was coming to an end
August.
in August. My lease ends in June. We at the time we had not signed, but we had located a spot in the same apartment complex here. Okay, so the same complex, really convenient, and just in case it were ever to even come out, when we're not going to say the name here, love this place.
Mm-hmm.
I love the grounds. We're right on the lake. Getting a little bit of community here, like no names. We know pets. And it was brought to my attention. Does this need to be told by saying the other person as well? Like how it came to be discovered that this might be the same person? I'm going to do it. I'll do it. I don't think you understand what I'm saying, but I'll do it. So there's a dog park up the street, or up like at the other end of the apartments, where, for what it's worth, I'll quickly tee you up, and as briefly as you want to make it, Emily will take Timber, and Timber loves it, and she will occasionally be made uncomfortable out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the spark notes is there is an older gentleman who's probably in his like 60s,
Yeah.
maybe 50s, who will come out and stare at us, but he'll like do it in the most cartoon villain way possible.
Mhm.
So he'll like hide behind shrubs or the carport and like
she'll
peek
see him,
and like
running.
peek out. Yeah, he'll like run to come stare at us.
And he sees this person and screams the entire time. So this guy's not secretive. So
well, he
whatever.
thinks he's being
He
secretive.
thinks he's being secretive. At that point, you could take the possibility that, like, whatever, mental faculty's not all there, or whatever, he's just aloof, or whatever. Still generally creepy behavior. That has been happening for a while. I would be willing to bet, just on my own, straight white male privileges, that it's probably harmless beyond creepy guy being creepy. That doesn't change the facts on the ground for the women who are being made uncomfortable by him. Fast forward, we find an available apartment, right? And for a split second, we think that it is his apartment or his building, right? So we do a little bit of research. This includes checking police databases to ensure that what we've seen is true. How do I want to get out ahead of this? By saying what we think is not true.
So basically, what I did was I knew there was a creepy person in the complex.
Yeah.
I went to the sex offender registry
Yep.
and just wanted to see what was in the area.
Right.
And it came up with one hit for this
Right.
apartment complex that happened to be, which I have a friend
Yep.
at the dog park who met the same person, got the guy's name.
Yep.
The one hit for the apartment complex was a guy of the same first name who looked very,
Looks
very,
similar,
very similar.
Has the exact same name, and is
First name.
And exact
Yeah.
same first name, and is on the sex offender registry for rape. Okay? Now, I will get out ahead of it by saying it's not the
Not
same
the
guy.
same guy.
It's not the same guy. Has the same name, has the same build, and to our knowledge has the same vibes.
That is very specific.
Right. Now, we discover that, well, we think that this guy's moving out, right? But then we come to discover that it's not the same person, which great. You know, the person that we had found on the registry is not the same guy and hasn't been here for a long time.
Okay.
But when you look up that address, you see that guy. Now you can hand it off to John. Yeah. Because now it's where I want to get your take.
Okay, I'm back.
So those are the facts on the ground. If you look up this address, you find a person who was convicted for double rape.
Well, it was several counts.
Several counts of rape, which may be under the same one. It's like, you know, state and federal, maybe. Either way, convicted of rape. At which point, I start getting really nervous about what would it be like if, when you look up this apartment complex, if you're a family moving in, you've got kids, and you look sex offender registry, is this place safe? And it tells you that there is a convicted rapist who lives at this address, which is the address I'm about to move into. Do you see the struggle here?
I can. Well, okay, yeah.
So just to be clear, again, it's not the same guy, and it wasn't even the same address. But when you look up the sex offender registry, it pulls up that there's a person living in this apartment.
So the chance they're going to be like, you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, to her credit, only one specific site says this guy at this apartment for these charges.
Well,
You're not hooked up. Yeah. Okay.
It's pulling from the Illinois registry.
It's pulling from the Illinois registry. This guy moved to Michigan. It's an Illinois conviction. He lived in Michigan. Now no longer lives there, but didn't change his address with the Illinois registry. So it still comes up that he lives in that apartment. Which, again, we thought that it would be the other apartment where the other guy lives. But if you're just looking up this complex, and you happen to go to the one site, admittedly, where it says this, that there is a rapist in this apartment.
Hide your kids.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, because they raping everybody out here.
Yeah.
It could be, it isn't, and I only say this because we accidentally thought it was the same guy. It could be misconstrued that I'm the rapist.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused a little bit of a stir in the household.
Okay, but
She's going to look something
up.
up. Yeah, nobody would ever think, based on the picture, nobody would ever think that it's me. John's going to tell me I stink via a note. You have to stop saying...
Sorry, I'm just waiting for the photo.
John wrote me another note.
You really do.
Yeah. That one was the most unhinged. So to the audio listeners,
Holy
Emily,
shit, this is David.
Yeah, okay, so Emma is showing a picture to John of the person who was convicted of rape. Let's make sure we keep that off the camera, because whatever. But again, it would if you look at the visuals and don't make any jokes here, it would never be misconstrued that I'm the same guy. But if you are just a panicked person in the community looking for a sex offender and you find that there is one at this address, even though that person hasn't been here in decades, that's now my address. And there was a little bit of a stir where there was a possibility where, even though it is the most convenient, most perfect place for us to move, would be right over next door, I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, the risk was too great, because as I've told her, and she'll concede, if that happens one time, that becomes a problem for me. Because one public confrontation where somebody's screaming at me in a parking lot because I'm a rapist, like, you don't come back from that in the community, because now at this point, nobody's interested in looking it up. I hear that guy's a rapist. What are your thoughts on that?
Talk about how the stir dissipated, because it's important information.
The stir dissipated because it's the most convenient way the most convenient place to live, and you have to go through so many hoops to discover
Mike
that
is
this
being
guy
handed
used to
over.
live here, and she has gone through the process of contacting the registries to make sure that this guy takes himself off of this address, will no longer be at this complex. What you got?
That's true also, but the more important thing was there is a unit number attached to this address that's within a building that has 4 units in it.
So you have to walk in
you have
the
to
building.
literally stand in the foyer to watch who comes out, and not only watch who comes out of which exact unit, but also think that you're the same person after like.
Listen, I understand. And
I officially have my take.
John has a
There
take.
you go.
All right, can't wait.
I have my take,
Yep.
folks.
Listen, nobody listens to the show anyway. It will be suppressed by the amount of times I've said the word rape in it.
My official take is, if it were
Is this
me-
a real take?
This is my real take. If it were
You're not
me,
fucking with me?
No, if it were me,
Okay.
I wouldn't care. Like I would move and be like, oh, it's whatever. It's not me. I don't think anyone would question it's me. If they
Yep.
actually looked it up, they'd see it's not
And just to be
me.
clear, at this point, I now agree with you.
What I would do is I would move like to where I want to move, and
Mhm.
it happens to be there. I would also reach out to the apartment complex and say, hey, according to this registry, you have this. This might be what is harming your leasing rates. So
It's been done.
Okay.
That's been done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just say, like, yeah, like you guys might be missing out on people living here because of this.
Yeah.
But I would move not caring that anyone thought it was me.
But now tell me how you would feel and what that would do to your own like actual day to day if one time someone confronts you in the parking lot and is screaming at you. I'm going to worst case scenario,
Yep.
of course, because it's a non-0% chance. And somebody screams at you saying that they know that you're a convicted rapist. And there's enough people in the parking lot to where word gets out that you are a rapist.
I mean, truthfully, in that situation, I would just de-escalate and be like, listen, that is so-and-so. My name is not that. You can even look it up. If you have any questions, let me know. And then I would truly just, the way my brain works, I would truly pivot to just life moves on. I don't care.
Sure.
I would be more worried about like my wife or whoever, where it's like, well, great, now they have to deal with that. I don't care.
Well, and that's
personally.
part of it.
They have to.
There
deal
was
with
part of that. And again, obviously, those arguments have been taken into consideration because we're moving into that
Yeah.
spot. And I'm really excited, and I don't want that to take away from that because I love that spot. I'm really excited to move into that place. I'm excited to show you as well. But the panic, oh my goodness. No, don't put him on the bed. Oh, you're just holding him. Okay. This is a good way to go out. The panic that ensued when even for a fraction of a second, when I considered the possibility that I might be mistaken for a sexual predator, it was like, well, we got to figure something else out then.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the stresses about moving into this new place, which again, I'm very excited to move into. Every single one of your arguments have been taken into consideration, which is why I inevitably agreed to move into this place. But like, that was overwhelming for a bit.
Yeah, I can definitely see where the stress was coming from.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I said, if it were me, I would just not, like, life moves on. I would just
It does.
move to the place, not
Yeah.
if it makes the most sense, if it's whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's quite the note to go out on, but you got anything else?
if I were you and that situation actually happens, someone's calling you out, like, I know who you are.
What are you going to say?
I'd be like, well, could someone on the registry do this, and just start breakdancing?
And with that, this has been another episode of the A.D.H. Deep Dive, the show that's not about ADHD, but is filled with proof it exists. John's about to say some fucked up thing.
No, I just have. Hey, Timber, any notes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got one right there.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. All right, thank you for joining the A.D.H. Deep Dive, the show that's not about ADHD, but is filled with proof it exists. My name is David J. Mund. I'll see you next time.